Here are two 1x10s, 6 feet long, that I'm going to be using for the top. So together they're going to be just over 18 inches. And I'll only need a run of about 3 feet. So I'm going to take in an inch on the end or so and then leave an extra inch, so I'll make these 2 inches long. And that'll give me, you know, a good 30 something inches left over, 34 left over. And I'll use the offcuts for some of the internal work and also like the front rails, like the dovetail rails and whatnot. So, and also for the drawer fronts. So it should be nice. Splitting a line is just so satisfying. Can you see that? This piece was bowing a little bit, so I put my straight edge on it, and now I've got a good fit for this, which I'm going to glue on. All right, let me tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing here. Basically I want something that I can attach the top through, so I want that. This will give me extra supports for the drawer top kick and the runners. And what I'll do is, this will be the dovetailed front rail, and then I'll just connect them with mortised in pieces. And then before I glue everything up, I'll mortise everything in. This I want extra wide to provide extra support for the top middle here. Because again, this is just 3/4 inch stuff. So, you know, I'm just taking extra precautions. There's really no extra time involved in this. You're gonna have to make drawer kicks and runners anyways. So yeah. This here, it's just a mortised in piece. It's a double 1/4 inch mortise. It's a double 1/4 inch tenon. So with a 1/4 inch between it. Here's the bottom rail for the drawers. It's got a double tenon. These are each a 1/4 inch. They were sized off of my 1/4 inch chisel with a 1/4 inch just over it, between it. So that way I could use the same chisel to cut it out. These are oversized. It overhangs the back because there'll be a mortise in here. And I'm going to use this to size my dovetail piece. I want the dovetail piece to sit flat. I want it to be exactly the same length between the legs, not overall length, but the length between the legs as the bottom piece. That way it doesn't push in or out. So I'm going to take my knife. I'm just going to mark the very edge here. Great. Okay. Now to transfer that line across. From here, it's just marking out a dovetail. Got my dovetail guide, and I'm just going to mark it. If this is my front edge, I'm going to mark it just off the front edge here, because this will be set back a little bit, so I'm not going to, it's not going to be right on the very front. So that'll give me a 1/4 inch at least on the front. So I'm going to just put it right on the line. While I'm waiting on the glue up of the front, I'm not going to even touch that. I'm not going to touch that for a whole day. I can at least get some other work done. I've cleaned up more or less one edge of all the drawer support structures. We have the rails, the lower rails, the upper kicks, then a middle divider rail here, which will serve 2 drawers with the divider in the middle. And this one I cleaned up both ends because essentially I can make a tenon on each and then cut it. I can form 1 tenon on each of these, and then when everything's dry, I can assemble it, then insert the tenon into the back, and then just measure off to the front. So I can get all the tenons inserted into the back, which has already been dry, which is already dried for 2 days now. So I'm going to mark off the distance and just double check my line. Now I've got my reference line, my reference side marked here, and off that side, I'm going to just guesstimate the middle. That's pretty close. This is my mortising gauge. All right, so what I'm going to do is make sure that since I'm referencing off this, I'm going to put this side down, and then to form the mortise, what I'll do is I'll gauge off the bottom of that too, so that way we have the same reference side. Since I referenced off this side here, what I can do then is I can take the mortising gauge and reference off this, off the bottom. So I'll have the 2 reference edges on the bottom. That way we get a clean, they line up perfectly. Got this in clamped nice and tight so I can fit the drawer support structures, the rails and the kicks. And it's pretty simple. I'm just going to put the edge of the tenon, put the shoulder of the tenon up here. I'm not going to be able to get it in. And simply mark. I mark on the bottom. And that's that. You know what? I'll do it other way. Mark the reference edge. That. I've got all the marks on these ones. I'm not really going to get them close. The idea isn't to get them perfect. I'll probably move it back a 1/16. I don't want them to stop it from the joints from closing up on the sides. So these will have, it's really not that important that they're perfect fits. With these 2 here, it's very important to consider this right here. I don't want to compromise the dovetail and or the top or bottom rail at all. So what I'll do is I'm going to set it on my middle here, and then I will just probably mark the extremities only as well. So I'll just make tenons on the very edge and not in the middle. Number 6. Got the piece cut. I'm going to line up the middle line here with the middle line on the actual top here, and make sure that's lined up with that. I'm going to transfer my tenon. Now for the mortising, the gauge. Just got it assembled and clamped up. It's basically done structurally. As you can see, the original design, you can see the design here. I've got everything integrated. This gives a lot of rigidity now. I can tell you that. Just pressing on like this, I don't feel it really at all. I feel a little bit in the front, sinking, but yeah. And these are all gappy, like I planned. Whenever I'm gluing, I don't want to have to worry about something having to go in exactly right and then holding everything else up. I've been there before and it's not fun. So at this point, I have one more thing I need to do, which is a drawer divider right here in the middle, right here. And I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll just mortise it in here and then mortise it in into the front, and that'll be it. And maybe glue it to the bottom and then have that all be a single piece. We'll see. It's certainly easier than having it be a separate piece, I'll say that. I'm pretty stoked with this. It's really light, and yet I'm thinking it's a pretty good design in terms of rigidity. And the reason why I care so much is because for my son, and I don't really want to risk it if he, I don't know, if he climbs on it or something, I don't want to risk it breaking. Not because I'm worried about the furniture, but more about him. So, okay, like I said, I have one more piece here in the middle to be a drawer divider between the two. And then I also forgot to mention, I have to have the drawer side rail here to stop it from going in at an angle. It'll just be a small piece of glue onto the outside right here. Or just a spacer that goes against the wall. Either way. Got my piece ready to go. Nice fit. Now I'm going to take the measurement of what this needs to be. The way I'm going to get the measurement here for this piece is I've already done this actually, so I've marked it on there. But I've got this piece here. I can run it right up against the side, straight to the back. Mark on the piece. There you go. And then what I'll do is I'll just, from the tenon here, I can just pass my line over. I'll start by marking the height that I need for it. So just there and there, somewhere near the middle. And now I just need to cut those on center between those lines. I've marked out the center here. The line was already here, I just transferred it down. And that goes in nice. Well, I'm pleased. It went together really perfectly. I don't think it's holding anything up. It's nice and tight. That's the joint I really wanted to fit nicely. And it is.